When I was a kid, my father used to tell me a lot, "Sweetie, life is all about exchange." He was saying that all the time. He was saying that when I was stealing toys at school. He was saying that when he was driving me to boarding school. He was saying that even when I was going out very late and he wanted me to go home early. And I found that extremely boring. And I was listening quietly to my father's figure. When I turned 22, my father died. So it was logic for me to start to search for the meaning of his words. Exchange. Life is all about exchange. So naturally, I went to work at the United Nations. And there, I've learned so many things. I've learned how to draft a PowerPoint presentation. I learned how to organize meetings, how to smile in a very diplomatic way. But I never really learned what it meant to give or receive. So I came back to France a while later, and I started a movement with two other friends who were also really frustrated by their work in international organizations. A movement called Singa. It means connection in Lingala, a language spoken in Congo. This movement was designed in order to match people who were newcomers with people who were locals. The idea behind that is to create social capital around our differences, to connect people, and through that, empowering exchange. But when you put some people that don't know each other, that don't have the same language, that don't have the same culture, do not come from the same country, you put them in the same room, and you can end up with funny stories. We were facing a lot of challenges, including intercultural challenges. For instance, my friend Kitri. One day, she was hosting for dinner two Afghan friends, and she spent the whole day preparing the food for the dinner. She was really excited about this dinner. So she wanted to bake a cake. You know, this kind of cake that you bake during hours? This kind of cake that smells really, really good, with a lot of chocolate and vanilla and some sparkles on it. You're becoming hungry, no? Yeah. So when time for dessert came, she took the cake from the fridge and she put it on the table in front of her friends, and she says, "Who wants some?" She was really enthusiastic about the cake. And the friends, they were like, "No, thank you." So Kitri just wanted to be polite. So she was really frustrated by that. So she took the cake back to the kitchen. And then she came back and ended the dinner. And sometime later, she learned that what happened on that evening was called tarof. Tarof means being polite in Persian. So tarof consists in systematically refusing something that you are offered. So by following tarof, something that Kitri would have done would be like, "Do you want some cake? No, thank you. Please, I insist. No, thank you. Do you want some cake? No, thank you." And at the end, they would have said, "Yes, please." The thing is that Kitri also wanted to be polite. So all of them wanted to be polite, but not in the same way. And today, they're still laughing about the story. And the story of Kitri was told to all the people in Singa to help them and support them in intercultural interaction. Stories like this one, I've seen thousands, especially since 2015. We launched a co-hosting platform that was designed to allow locals to host newcomers for a while. And the outcomes were huge. Within 2 months, we had 12,000 people, local people, applying to host newcomers. And nonetheless, we had such a big citizen mobilization, but after 6 months on average, newcomers were able to find a job that was matching their competencies, a sustainable house, but more than everything, they had friends. And this is something that locals had too, because if at the beginning locals were like, "I'm going to help someone by hosting this person," at the end, they were very happy of the experience because they had friends and they had deconstructed their stereotypes about migration. We had a lot of good stories, and there is another one I want to tell you. It's the story of Mohammed and Benoit. Mohammed is coming from Afghanistan. He's 22 years old. He is a fanatic of hip-hop. He loves political science. And he loves TED Talks too, so one day he wants to do one, just saying. he met with Benoit, who is a famous filmmaker and author, living in New York, but coming often to France. And Benoit decided to write a book about Mohammed's story. But after a while, after having started to talk about politics, Trump, the Middle East, they realized that they had things in common to share. So they started to drink wine together and try French cheese, or hang out in the countryside. And it was more than a story of writing a biography of someone. It was a story of connection. And at the end, Mohamed, ma mère et moi, Mohamed, my mother and I, came out in the library. So I would like to quote the final sentences of the book to give you some idea about their relationship. Mohamed decided to tell me his story, a story that he has never told anyone, a story that will be known from now, a story that echoes my own West Quest, a story that allowed me to understand better the world by putting a distance with my own culture and how we can reinvent how we are, a story that made us friends. You may notice at this point that I haven't used the word refugee, migrant, asylum seeker, expat, because I am convinced that these are labels, and labels do not define our identity. But what defines our identity is our emotions, is our meetings, encounters, our communities. So I think that we all need to get out of our comfort zone to experience the meaning of exchange. Let's go and speak with people we don't know. Let's eat cake that stranger would offer to us. Let's go in our neighborhood and visit community centers. Let's do with and not for others. I am convinced also that at first what we think is different with others is actually what can bridge us with them. A year ago, I spent some time with Jean-Baptiste de Foucauld. He's one of the founders of the European Union. And we were discussing about the meaning of fraternity. Fraternity is one of the three words of the French motto, liberté, égalité, fraternité. And he said something that really opened my eyes. He said that fraternity is based on the fact that you give, you receive, and then you give back. I think that's the secret algorithm of social interaction. And this secret algorithm of social interaction can empower everyone to have a concrete impact on society. So today, I think my father was both right and wrong. He told me how to give, he taught me how to receive, but not really how to give back. And I think that if you only give or receive, you're missing out the point of what you can build. So let's give, let's receive, and let's give back. Thank you.